talk about a new mortgage, please press 3. Calls that you make to us or which we make to you may be monitored or recorded for training and quality purposes. Please hold for a member of our mortgage team.
Hello, thanks. How can I help you?
Hi, thank you so much. Just to let you know that thanks for letting me know that the calls are recorded. We also record them, so I thought I should let you know as well. What I wanted to ask you is this: I've seen a property that I really like.
Yeah.
I've got about $500,000 to put down as a deposit.
Okay.
And the property's just over $1 million.
Okay.
So I've got quite a good deposit. But I've seen this and I've got a great income. You know, my income I could probably pay it off in 5 years.
Okay.
But then I've seen these sort of films on YouTube where they have these bailiffs go round to people's houses because they haven't managed to pay their mortgage for good reasons. You know, sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they were ill or something genuine.
Yeah.
And they'd send round these kind of thugs and they'd sort of evict them from their houses.
Right, okay.
Using these rather unsavoury characters.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, is that actually what you guys do?
Well, it's not something that we would, certainly from my perspective, it's not something that we would do. If we provide a mortgage to a customer and then the customer gets into difficulties for whatever reason, and I have to say that when we're providing the mortgage, we would talk through the customer's options in terms of, you know, perhaps insurances. So life cover, critical illness cover, terminal illness cover.
Yeah, but let's say they didn't have any of those.
Well, assuming that they didn't have any of those things, we would obviously advise, I guess, when we're providing the mortgage, that they take them. If they don't have those things and then for whatever reason the mortgage was to go pear-shaped, let's say, then we would obviously explore every avenue to help the customer keep their home before it got to a stage where it was repossessed. And I'd like to think that a company like wouldn't necessarily employ characters of the type that you describe when it gets to that stage.
Really? You don't think that's possible that some of those type of characters infiltrate big businesses?
From a personal perspective, I'd like to think not. Whether they actually do in practical terms is another matter.
Right. Forgive me for asking you difficult questions, but I genuinely sort of, you know, I want to challenge you and say, you know, you've given me the party line, right? I don't believe that's what happens, and I don't know how you could actually know what is going on. How do you know what's going on?
Well, I don't. And can I ask from what perspective you're asking these questions? I know that you've told me that the kind of property that you're considering buying, the size of the mortgage you might require, and your income, but it seems to me a strange line of questioning, if you don't mind me saying so, for somebody that's looking to get a mortgage in the first place, particularly in view of the fact that you're likely to be able to pay it off in 5 years.
Yeah, well, but because...
It sounds to me like the kind of question that a journalist might ask, perhaps. and in that respect, then I've certainly got to toe the party line, haven't I?
Yeah, well, do you see, the thing is that I wouldn't call myself a journalist, at all. What I'd call myself is an explorer of our reality, I like to explore what's going on and see if there are some things that we're being told about which aren't quite kosher, right, which aren't quite true. We're being deceived, okay? So what I'm saying is, genuinely, I am really concerned about the people who work in the banks that you guys work for. I think that they're not telling us the truth about what they're really up to.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things, you know, they are in bed with all sorts, you know, they're in bed with all sorts of dodgy organisations. Yeah? So, you know, to me, if I come to borrow...
Let me tell you what I would do if I was in a position that you're in and I was looking for a mortgage.
Yeah.
I have to say that I don't have one personally. If I was looking for a mortgage and I suspected that the company that I was talking to dealt in underhand matters in the way that you described, I'd probably seek to get my mortgage from somewhere else.
Yeah, but the problem is aren't they all doing it?
Well, I don't know. I've not had a property repossessed, so I really don't know.
Right. Okay.
And all I can tell you is what's in my experience, I guess.
Right. But have you ever seen properties being repossessed on YouTube?
There's all sorts of films and videos on YouTube that could perhaps be set up. Like a lot of the information and the videos that you see on Facebook, perhaps.
Well,
and it has to be said that, as you've described, a lot of the stuff that goes on in the world is not necessarily as we're told. Well, the flip side applies as well, I guess.
I agree with you. One has to be.
It so happens that the person that's picked up your call today is well up for a conspiracy theory from time to time.
Well, fantastic. Well, let me just suggest to you this. I absolutely think you're spot on in being what I would describe as healthily skeptical. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think healthy skepticism is the only approach that makes any sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. But healthy skepticism doesn't mean total skepticism. That's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, you're right. There's lots of stuff that's put out there which seems to be a setup of some sort. Okay.
Yeah.
But what if they're, what if they're not set up? What if they're genuine? What if you go online, go and have a look, go and have a look at repossessions and bailiffs and type that all in and watch them, yeah?
Yeah.
And ask yourself, who are these people being employed by? Mm. Yeah? And how does that, and is it, does that make any moral or philosophical sense?
So what are you suggesting? If I was to go on YouTube and find videos of the nature that you describe?
Yeah, I'll tell you what you can do. You can go to my YouTube channel where you'll end up hearing this conversation, right?
Okay.
It's called Social Experimentalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'll do is I will take out the identity, your identity of the bank, out of this conversation, so nobody will know what bank you're working for. Mm-hmm. All right?
Yeah.
And you can send me a message on there, and I will email you links to some things to watch.
Okay.
To see what these banks are really up to, because I know they don't tell you. Of course, they don't tell you that.
Yeah.
Why would they tell you what they're really up to?
Well, the same goes for any kind of part of society, if you like. I do shopping at Tesco's, I do shopping at Asda's, and I'm sure those companies like me to think that the produce that I'm buying from them is probably the best that I could get my hands on for the money that I'm paying. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not forcing GMO foods down my throat.
And the rest, not just GMO. Forget GMO.
All aspects of society, cancer treatment. How do we know that they're not trying to kill us rather than treating us?
Well, that's why I say that's why.
Alternative approach and eat lots of fruit and drink lots of water and be healthy people.
Well, and that's why I say treat everything with healthy skepticism, including what they're doing.
Absolutely.
What's going on out in the world, what the big boys are doing.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of. I'm not sure it's healthy, but there's certainly a lot of skepticism about what politicians are up to.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thank you very much. It's been an absolutely fascinating conversation, and I hope you'll forgive me.
Back at you.
What's that?
Back at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Nice talking to you. Cheers.